The next thing you see now is me on one of the first solo dives with the SF2. As you see, I'm only sporting the bailout. I have no deco stages at this point because I'm not certified to use one. This is quite a shallow dive in, I think, the lake, one of the lakes near Zurich. What you'll also see is that I'm using additional weight, which I've dropped since. But for me, that was the important thing, is just to start, and you'll see that I'm still fighting a bit. Sometimes I'm venting some gas, and but I'm still enjoying myself and doing my first steps, diving silently and without bubbles. You'll see on the computer that I have been on a PO2 of 0.7. Now, doing just experience dive is one thing, but what you'll do is you'll have to do quite a lot of training, and the training, the practice will involve various procedures. The first thing is learning to actually control your buoyancy from scratch, because you cannot use the lungs to do the fine-tuning of the buoyancy within a rebreather, so you'll have to start from scratch. And it will take more time than usually anticipated, although people are warned that you're almost starting to dive from scratch, which is true and not true, but that's a philosophical question. What I'm doing here is the first steps of bailout drills. Whenever something is not feeling right, not sounding right, or not indicating right, you would bail out, similar to a fighter pilot ejecting from their aircraft. We eject from our system. We solve problems in open circuit mode, not in closed circuit mode, because if things go bad on a closed circuit rebreather, they'll go bad pretty quickly, and you want to have the time, you buy yourself some time to resolve it, and then either go back into the loop and continue the dive, or actually abandon the whole thing and tom the dive. Here again, the same thing, emergency signaling with the light. I show that something's wrong with the loop. I show that I'll go open circuit. I clip off the light. I pull the regulator of my bailout tank, check it. I show the tanks with the markings to my body to ensure that I'm breathing the correct bailout, that I'm not breathing a pure oxygen or a 50% below 21 meters or 60 feet. And now I'm open circuit and switching the computer also from closed circuit to open circuit. And you cannot do that enough. The nice thing about the pool is you're doing it in warm water. It's 28 degrees Celsius and it's at 3 meters, which is roughly 9 to 10 feet. That is, by the way, a tricky depth because you're not very stable, so you have to practice your buoyancy at that level and be really careful, because whatever you do, you will quickly, either start ascending or hitting the floor of the pool, as you will see here a few times. So as you do that, you add complexity, you practice, and you overcome certain things. And hopefully you also overcome, swimming with your hands, the thing I'm doing now. This exercise, by the way, is one that I wouldn't do again. This is removing the mask. Why not? Because I was not supervised at that moment. I was just watched by the camera, and I was not in control of my PO2. Had something unexpectedly go wrong with my PO2 and my loop become unbreathable during those few seconds that I didn't have the mask on. I wouldn't have noticed. It sounds like a small thing, but it's a serious thing, so don't do this at home, folks. Once you master buoyancy and you master the emergency exercises, then it's time to get back in the loop and get proficient again with basic divemanship. In technical diving, that's shooting your SMB, your surface marker buoy, and that's also, given the higher workload at the beginning, you'll see that you'll do funny stuff, like I'm doing at the moment. But that's just part of the process of getting up to speed with things, of rebuilding the muscle memory that is required. And once you do that, you will find out that shooting a buoy like here is something that can be learned again, and that will actually work quite nicely, and you'll get back to how things used to be.